7 years. That's how long I have been in Australia. I came here when I was 18 from Nepal with a scholarship and just one suitcase. My first week in Melbourne, I slept on the floor, no mattress, no furniture, just me, a backpack, and a phone with no local SIM. I remember thinking, what am I doing here? And this video is everything that happened after that moment. 7 years compressed into one story. I'm going to talk about all the things like the survival jobs, the university grind, job applications that I sent after my university, and why I now believe that a 9 to 5 was never the finish line. And if you're an international student, an immigrant, or someone trying to figure out your life in a country that wasn't designed for you, stay till the end. I made this for you. I landed in Melbourne, one of the most livable cities in the world. That's what everyone says, right? But nobody tells you what livable feels like when you have no money, no friends, and no idea how anything works. My first week, I didn't have a mattress. I slept on the floor of an apartment in Melbourne. I didn't know where to buy groceries. I didn't know how public transportation worked. I never cooked a meal for myself in my entire life. The loneliness, that's something nobody warns you about. You are in this massive, beautiful city surrounded by millions of people, and you've never felt more alone. Back home in Nepal, money wasn't something you thought about every day. Life was just chill. You hung out with your friends, you ate your mom's food. You didn't calculate the cost of bread or something. But in Melbourne, everything cost something. Everything has a number attached to it. And for the first few days, I remember calculating everything, how it would cost in local currency. Suddenly you're 18 in a new country and the only backup plan is you. My first job in Australia was at a car wash. Let me be real with you. It was very humiliating. Not the work itself. There's nothing wrong with the hard work. The way you are treated when you're at the bottom of the chain, that's what gets you. And then I worked at McDonald's as well. And if you have worked at McDonald's as a casual, you exactly know what I'm talking about. It was the most robotic experience of my life. And the managers didn't even learn my name. They just hire, replace. And they would bring in younger workers just because they can legally pay less than people who are older. That means that they can cancel your shift anytime, no guaranteed hours, no stability. One week you're working like 15 or 16 hours, the next week it's only 4 hours. It was during one of those car wash shift and McDonald's shift, soaking wet, tired, getting paid almost nothing. I thought there must be some new ways of making money. And that was the first time when I picked out a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, trying to uplift my financial knowledge when I was 18. I just remember there has to be a better way to earn money rather than selling my time by the hour. That question never left me. But here's the reality of being an international student. Your visa restricts how much you can work. You cannot start a business. You cannot do anything significant as well. You just survive. And here comes the part of my university and education. I enrolled in a Bachelor of IT, majoring in software development at Melbourne Polytechnic. That's based in Preston, and there's one campus in Brand as well. And now let me be honest, it wasn't some prestigious university. It was just an average college. I was happy with that because I don't believe education was ever meant to come from university. A degree is just a ticket. That's it. That's just how I believe. What you actually learn, you learn by doing things. The grind was real. Nobody in my friend circle was doing the same major that I was doing. So I had to research everything myself. Also in the group assignments, the ones where you end up doing 80% of the work because other teammates. If you're in your uni doing group projects, you know what I'm talking about. And then there's tight deadlines, all-nighters, staring at your screen at 3 a.m., trying to figure out why your code won't compile. And meanwhile, you're also working part-time, paying rent, buying groceries, trying to have some kind of social life if that exists, and just hoping that scholarship money lasts. I got a 20% scholarship. It may sound good, right? But even with that discount, The fees were terrifying. And every month I'd do the math and think, if this doesn't work out, I'll be in debt and nothing to show for it, and I'll have to quit and go back to my home country. But slowly, through arranging money and getting help from my parents, friends, I was able to complete my degree. And at the end of my degree, one thing that saved me to find a job was an internship that I did at a startup in Melbourne, Docklands. And that was the first real taste of working in tech in corporate job and writing code that actually shipped and working with a team, seeing how real company operates. That internship alone was more educational than 3 years of lectures combined in my university. During those all 3 years of my university degrees, I want to be honest, like for the first 6 months or so, I almost quit. And I want to be honest about this because I think a lot of people go through it and nobody talks about it. I was doing the math, the fees, the cost of living, the dead-end casual jobs, the barely covered rent. And I kept thinking, even if I finish this degree, what if I can't get a real job? What if I'm stuck in these casual jobs, car wash, McDonald's, with just a bachelor's degree and a student loan back in my home country? The hardest part, even after having a job, even after working shifts, managing everything by myself, it still wasn't enough. I had to call my parents back in Nepal and ask for help. And that hit different because the whole reason you leave home is to build something on your own, to make your parents proud, to prove you can handle it. And then you're on your phone asking for help, asking for money. And you can hear in their voice, talking on a call, they're worried about you. And you're just pretending everything's fine here as well. And that was the lowest point. But by God's grace, I didn't quit. Not because I had some grand motivation, but because what else was I going to do? Like, go back? I couldn't pay back the fees either way. So I stayed somehow, I kept going. And sometimes the only reason you don't give up is because giving up is even scarier, right? Sometimes that happens. And that was the case for me as well. But the turning point came after I graduated in 2022. I did what every graduate does. I applied for thousands of job applications. Let that sit for a second. I applied for thousands of applications. Every job board, every company page, every LinkedIn easy apply button. I was applying to everything, tailoring resumes, writing cover letters, following up, and getting rejected, getting ghosted, getting those automated. Unfortunately, we've decided to move forward with other candidates' email that you have memorized word for word, right? Out of those thousands applications, I got like 40 plus interviews, and out of 40 plus interviews, I got 3 offers at the end of May 2022, at the end of April 2022. And one was in Sydney and 2 were in Melbourne. The job in Sydney was on-site, higher pay, and the one in the Melbourne was remote, but it was slightly less. I chose Melbourne just because I didn't have to relocate, and also it was remote role, and the office was in the city, Melbourne city. Because it was remote, because the office, if I ever needed to go in, was right in the city, Melbourne was kind of home for myself as well, I chose this. I still remember opening that offer email, sitting in my apartment, thinking it actually worked. Here's what I want to tell every student watching this. Yes, student life is going to be miserable. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But after you graduate, you land that first real job, life gets smoother. Not easy, but smoother. The grind starts to pay off, just not on that student visa timeline. And during all of those years, I had a huge mindset shift. When I was 18, I thought the peak of my life was getting a job at Google or Microsoft. Seriously, that was it. Like, that was the dream, getting into FANG, make a lot of money, be successful. Somewhere between washing cars, pulling all-nighters, sending thousands of job applications, and actually getting a comfortable tech job, something shifted. I realized that jobs aren't the goal, they're the tool. A tool to just get by. No matter how much you earn, nearly half of it goes to the government. You trade your time for money, you trade your freedom for stability. You can call it a success, it's a milestone, but after 3 years of working in tech, a good job, comfortable, remote, I still feel the same way. Like, honestly, that feeling has only gotten stronger that I don't just want to work. I want to build something. I want to create value, not for company, but for people, for students and graduates who are on the same journey as I was. International students trying to survive, graduates trying to break into tech, and people who need someone to tell them it's possible and here's how. The goal was never fame. The goal was freedom. I just didn't know it at 18. And if I had to send a letter to my 18-year-old me, if I could sit down with 18-year-old Nikit in that empty apartment in Melbourne, who just arrived to Melbourne, I'd tell him one thing. And that one thing is to relax. Yes, just relax. Stop rushing. Stop planning so far ahead that you never forget to live right now, like in the moment. You're so obsessed with the future, the job, the money, the career, the next step. In those moments, you kind of missing the fact that you're just 18 years old in Melbourne. This is your life right now, not later. Life is not meant to be lived in the future. It's meant to be lived in the present. And honestly, I'm still learning that. 7 years later, I'm still not great at it. I still plan so long for my future, and it's really hard for me to be present at this moment. It's always something for the future. I'm planning for future and I'll leave someday. And I still catch myself chasing the next thing instead of appreciating what's already here. So I'm not saying this from an enlightened mountaintop. I'm saying it because I needed to hear it too. Be present. That's it. That's the lesson that took 7 years to learn, and honestly, I'm still learning it. So that was 7 years compressed into one video, and there's still so much that I didn't cover, but here's what I want you to take away. If you are an international student right now, struggling, questioning whether it's worth it, wondering if you made the mistake or if you made the right decision, you didn't. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And the struggle you're going through right now is building the person you're going to become. I want to hear your story as well. Drop it in the comment section. Tell me where you're from, where you are now, what you are going through. I'll read every single comment. And if this video meant something to you, subscribe. I'm going to make content for people like us, immigrants, students, builders, people who are figuring it out one day at a time. 7 years is a long time, but it's your time. Make it count. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.